All right, we're live. Yay. Okay, good afternoon. Okay, so a couple things we get started. First, if you're in Empower Bookkeeper Network, our live call starts in about 45 minutes at 2 p.m. Eastern today. If you have not yet joined Bookkeeper Training School, but you're interested in joining, we have an info session tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So tonight, this will be Thursday, October 28th, at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So if you're interested, if you've got any questions about Bookkeeper Training School, we're going to be showing you behind the scenes. You should get an email with the link if you're on our email list. And if you're not, you can go to bookkeepertrainingschool.com and sign up, and we'll make sure that you get that link tonight. Okay. All right. So I actually got this question. It's interesting because I was planning to talk about this today, and then somebody in Empower Bookkeeper Network actually asked if these conferences are worth it. And so it's actually interesting. I actually posted a picture. I actually got a swag box from Quickbooks Connect today in the mail. So this is a super, super timely message right now. So are these conferences worth it? So we'll talk a little bit about Quickbooks Connect. Quickbooks Connect is a 2-day virtual conference. They went virtual last year, and they're gonna be virtual again this year. I think the one trend that we see in the conferences is that there's gonna be a live option and a virtual option for a lot of conferences going forward. Because one, I think that a lot of these conference organizers have just kind of realized that, especially let's talk about bookkeeping moms, right? So there's a lot of moms who are bookkeepers, and it's just not practical for them to necessarily go away for a couple days. So something like QuickBooks Connect decided that they can reach a lot more people if they do a virtual and a live option. So I think you're going to see a mix going forward. I know last year they had more people attend than they'd ever had before. So that's pretty cool. So QuickBooks Connect is live. You can go to quickbooksconnect.com. It is November 3rd and 4th. Okay. Which is, let me just look at my calendar here, which is next Wednesday and Thursday. So this conference is, it's going to be 2 days. There are different tracks that you can look at. One thing I think is really important is whether or not you want to sit for the entire, the entire session. The QuickBooks Innovation Spotlights are great. That's going to be the first day at 11 a.m. Eastern. That is going to talk all about new updates in QuickBooks. What are their kind of initiatives for the year? And so I think that that's super important because it gives you a lot of really good insights. So I know last year they talked about QuickBooks Cash, which is their new banking product. And they talked about just a whole bunch of other cool things that were coming down the pipe with QuickBooks. So I think that's important. It's only a 35-minute, 35-minute thing. Then they have lots of famous speakers. So Kristen Bell and Jay Shetty are going to be speaking, which is very cool. I'm actually in Jay Shetty's coaching certification. So, I'm probably not going to sit through that one because I get to see Jay speak quite a bit. Then there are sessions that you can kind of choose what track you want. So there's everything from, and this is also too, this is not just for pro advisors, but this is for pro advisors and the larger community. So you're going to see that there are tracks. So there's one on growing your business, there's one on organizing your finances, and there's a track for taking care of your team. You're also going to see things for managing cash flow. And so you really have, there's lots of partner demos. So if there are pieces of software that we've talked about in the course, so for example, DocuSign, Avalara, Fishbowl, and Next are all going to be demoing their software. There's going to be sessions on the back office, budgeting for your business. Again, lots of different solution providers. So I think that it's great because you can see a lot of different things very, very quickly, but you also have, and I'm sorry, I keep looking over here because I'm actually like scrolling down the page and everything that's going to be going on. Let me know if you have any questions about this as well. But I think that, instead of like sitting through hour-long demos or 30-minute demos with each of these pieces of software, you're going to see a whole bunch of different options and different things that might be interesting in a short period of time. There's actually a concert on the first day in the afternoon. And then they're going to have somebody called the Cyber Mentalist. So they try to do some fun stuff. Like I said, there's going to be different tracks. Let's see. So Jay is also speaking on Thursday. They've got some stuff on advisory, QuickBooks online tips and tricks, simple steps for creating a strong business. I think a lot of times one of the issues that I have when I go to these is trying to figure out exactly what sessions I want to do. But they've got like some special cases on advanced accounting. Now it's interesting because QuickBooks just bought MailChimp. And so they're going to have a session on growing your firm with MailChimp, right? Because that's one of their new acquisitions. So there's some stuff on strategic planning. There's some stuff on advisory. So how to kind of move, from bookkeeping to, more of an advising role with your clients. So there's a lot of really good sessions in here. It gives you a lot to think about, which that's one thing that I really love about these sessions. And so what, I don't know, what I might do is I might actually get people on Bookkeeper Training School on a Zoom, so that they can kind of talk back and forth during some of these sessions. I don't know, we'll figure something out. We'll figure something out over the weekend, give me some time. But I think it'd be really interesting to kind of, watch some of this stuff together. So that's QuickBooks Connect. Again, you can sign up, and this is free. So it's all virtual, it's all free. It's going to be next week on Wednesday and Thursday. It starts at like 11 a.m. on both days, and it wraps up by like 3:30. So it's not like, they're not super long days. They try to make it so that you can still get work done, while you're doing it. But there's a ton of content. There's like a whole content library. You're going to be able to watch stuff. There's actually some stuff that you can watch now. There is stuff that you can watch like after the fact. So even if you can't make stuff live, but if you go in there now, there's actually a whole bunch of short videos. There's some demos that you can watch. There are some webinars that you can watch. So it's really cool to be able to go in there. There's actually a whole bunch of stuff from last year's event. So I would definitely go in and take a look if you kind of want an idea of what it's going to look like before you commit to going. Sarah, it starts at 11 a.m. Eastern time on both days. And like I said, then it goes to like 3:30 Eastern. So, and like I said, if you do want a flavor for it, if you go to QuickBooksConnect.com, click on Content Library at the top of the page, it's going to show you some of the content from last year's, just so you can kind of get a flavor for what it looks like, okay? And whether or not it's your jam. But I really believe that you can get some really good information. Like I said, you don't have to sit through the whole thing. You kind of come and go as you want. You can listen in the background. So a lot of time when I'm listening, I've got other stuff that's going on. I'll either put it on my phone, as I'm walking around, or I will, be sitting at my computer working on something. Okay, so hopefully that's helpful. I also want to let you know about another conference that's going to be next June, so that you guys have some time to kind of think about this. So there's a conference that's called Scaling New Heights, and it's by Joe Woodard and his group, the Woodard Group. They do a lot of support and education for bookkeepers and accountants. they mostly stay on like the bookkeeping side of things. Phenomenal group. They have great newsletters. And they have a conference. It's called Scaling New Heights. Okay. No, it's not for Empower Bookkeeping. We don't have a conference yet. I know, like Sarah's like, so we need a conference. I know, but hey, check this out. So Scaling New Heights is going to be in Orlando next June. Okay. I just saw the email this morning. It's going to be in Orlando next June, which is right in my backyard, which means I'm going to be there. If any of you that are in Empower Bookkeeper Network are planning to go or interested in going, let me know, because we can probably set up a meetup somewhere. But I think it's going to be really cool. I think it's, hold on, let me check. Let me get the website for you guys. Scaling New Heights 2022. So it is, let's see. So if you go to woodard.com, woodard.com, you can click a button to get to Scaling New Heights 2022. It is going to be June 19th through 22nd. So the current pricing is $795. I'm waiting to see if they have any sort of deal. Okay. Thank you, Sarah. It is, but your breakfast, lunch, and a snack are included Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay. So there are a couple of meals that are included. And I would recommend that if you're in Empower Bookkeeper Network and you're planning to go, a lot of times when people go to conferences like this, they'll share rooms. So if you guys want to kind of organize that, that's totally cool. We could do that. But these types of conferences, there are going to be lots of vendors there. There's going to be lots of opportunity for networking, lots of opportunities for growth. His conferences, his events, his conferences are amazing. And there probably are some concerts. So typically live events like this, just to kind of let you know, is that during the day, there are lots of sessions. At night, there's lots of people hanging out. You either meet up with people who you already know, or you meet new people, you have dinner together, there's lots of parties in the evening. Typically with conferences like this, once you get there, the vendors are going to have events in the evening. They're going to have, like, I know one of the last conferences that I went to was a podcasters conference, and like almost every single night there was some group that was having a party that would feed you. So we actually didn't pay for a lot of dinners while we were there either. But events like this, first of all, it's great to kind of get out of your element and focus in on just being there, right, and learning. I know a lot of you that have gotten certified, it was hard because you were at home, you're trying to focus on home, you're trying to focus on getting certified. This is just kind of a nice couple days that you can focus in on your needs and what you want to learn. And I use it a lot for either planning or for strategizing for my business. So a lot of times, like, I'll learn things and I'll think about like how I can implement them. And so that's really cool because it kind of gives you the opportunity to like think about your business while you're there. It is in Orlando. It is right near Disney. The hotel that it's at actually has like runs to Disney. So if you wanted to bring your family, you could, that would be okay. But they do have shuttles to Disney every day. They have shuttles to Disney Springs every night. Disney Springs is like a mall. Beautiful mall. It is so beautiful. With lots of like stuff to do and lots of restaurants and things like that. Totally cool place to go. But so their information here, they don't have a schedule yet because they literally just wrapped up their conference yesterday, their 2021 conference, and they announced their 2022 conference. So we've just weathered a powerful economic social and health crisis, all while facing the normal challenges of parenthood, elderly care, domestic relationships, health events, and the list goes on and on. Since we are unstoppable folk, we are enduring under the weight of the storm, but many of us are exhausted, harried, and to some degree afraid. Simply put, we are surviving when we could soar. Over the coming year, I challenge you to expect more, demand more than just survival, but the journey from the state of survival to a state of victory is not an easy one. You need a map, a plan, you need a guide, you need training, and you need the strength of community. Simply put, you need Scaling New Heights 2022, where it will provide you with the essential tools you need to excel in your life and practice. It's time to plan, to excel, to expand. It's your time to thrive. And their theme is thrive. Okay. So I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I am planning to go. I wanted to let you guys know early so that way, you know, you could start planning, start putting money away for this. Because I really believe that this is, you could plan a whole vacation around this if you wanted to. Typically flights to Orlando are pretty cheap. You can get direct flights from pretty much anywhere into Orlando. I know this because I fly out of Orlando a lot, or not a lot, but we're navigating. And we fly people into Orlando and back out of Orlando. So this is something, that you can start to plan for, you can start putting money aside for. $7.95 is like the full price. It's not like it's not an early bird or anything like that. If you sign up for their newsletter, they might do lower prices. I know they actually had a deal. And I missed the deal because I didn't see the email until today. They had a deal yesterday. So they might run other deals. They do have special pricing for the rooms. You don't have to stay at that hotel, but because there's usually so much going on after hours, it is really fun to stay at the hotel for the conference. They are a Marriott, so if you have Marriott points, you might be able to use those. But I think that it is, I just think that it's a really good thing to connect, live with people. Like I know with Bookkeeper Training School and with Empowered Bookkeeper Network, you have some connection that, with us that way, but it's not the same as like being live and hugging people and sitting next to them in sessions and having dinner together and that kind of thing. So I want to give you guys enough time to kind of think about it and plan about it and figure out if this is something for you. But I think these conferences are absolutely worth it. You learn so much in a couple days. And I know Joe, I actually met Joe a couple of years ago. So in 2016, I was one of CPA Practice Advisors 40 under 40. And so I actually got to go to Indianapolis. I spent a week with Joe and his team and the team from CPA Practice Advisor Magazine, and just learning and talking about what was going on in the industry. Joe's a super smart guy. And I think that his conference is going to be great. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up with that. And then if there's any other conferences that you find out about, please let me know, because we're always looking to see, where we can show up and where we can learn and where we can connect with other members of our community. All right. So I hope that this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. And again, our live call for EBN starts in about 25 minutes. And we have an info session tonight for those of you who have not yet bought Bookkeeper Training School, but are interested. Check your email. And if you're not on our email list yet, you can go to bookkeepertrainingschool.com and you can sign up there and get yourself on the email list. And we're going to send out an email about an hour before so that you guys have the reminder. Okay. All right. Awesome. I will talk to you guys soon. Take care. Bye.